This is an NBC 10 News podcast.
Sue AnderBois is a Providence City Councilwoman who wants to be your next lieutenant governor. She's got two other competitors on the Democrat side, Cy Camps of Oregon and the incumbent, Sabina Matos, and then a Republican waiting for her if she prevails. Hey, welcome in.
Thank you for having me, Gene. I'm glad to be here.
Providence City Councilwoman, a liberal, left, Providence progressive?
I would say I'm progressive, but a lot of things aren't right or left. A lot of things I've worked on have been like safety improvements on North Main Street. So I have worked on progressive issues, and also I've worked on bread and butter, everyday constituent issues.
All right, let's kind of scope it out here. Did you vote for the rent control?
I did vote on rent stabilization.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is that's a euphemism for rent control, isn't it?
No, it's just they are actually different policies. I think it's important to get details correct too. And the way that we did that bill was meant to say, hey, we both need to build our way out of this housing crisis that we all know we're in. And also, like, people are hurting now. And so it is an important distinction that it was meant to stabilize, not necessarily like control at a hard cap.
Right. In New York, they control certain apartments in a building. You can't move the rent there. Here it was going to be a kind of a blanket. You can't raise the rent more than a percentage over time. But there were exceptions
and exemptions and ways that if you needed to make major renovations, you could do that if you needed to, but it was a way to provide some stability to our residents.
Mayor said it's wrong-headed. You have no business telling a landlord how much he can make. Oh, not only that, you want to encourage developers to build, and they're not going to build if you're going to tell them, what kind of profit they can make.
We did exempt the new building. I disagreed with the mayor on that, in that I think we need to protect our residents, and we are getting people pushed out. In my neighborhood, in the Mount Hope neighborhood, people are getting pushed out every day. And so this was meant to say we did exempt new build for a period of time to say, please keep building. You will not be subject to this while you're still financing your building. But people are hurting now, and we need to take care of them. So I disagreed with that.
I had a whole discussion with the mayor today on my radio show about the government's role in providing affordable housing and government's role in stimulating the housing market. The flip story, the story that's never told, is that landlords, property owners, people who invested have created wealth. A triple decker, for example, in Central Falls, they're going for $740,000. Can't believe it. And you know what? I'd like to live someday at 740 Park Avenue in Manhattan.
Good for you.
But I can't. Can't afford it. So I have to go somewhere else. So maybe your city, a lot of people can't live in Providence anymore. They've got to go to Pawtucket, Central Falls, or somewhere like that. Is that correct, Dave? If you can't afford Manhattan, you got to live in New Jersey.
I want people to feel like they can afford to live in whichever town they want to live in. And frankly, because the state has disinvested in RIPTA so much, people don't necessarily have the option to move. Like, I live on the 1R line. My husband takes the RIPTA to work every day. If we moved, we'd have to buy another car. We'd have to figure out other transit options. A lot of people are in that kind of situation where they're living in a place and they need, access to certain resources. And I want all of our cities to be accessible. Frankly, if I tried to, I've owned my house, I'm a homeowner. I've owned my house for 11 years. If I tried to buy it today, I could not afford it. The prices have gone up too much.
Wait, but look at all the money you've made.
But I only make it if I sell it.
You've created wealth. You could tap into your home equity line of credit to finance your campaign. You can
I cannot do that. But
what do you think? Your value has gone up 2-3 times, maybe 4 times
since
your initial investment?
It's about doubled.
And that's a good thing, isn't it?
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does make our neighborhoods less accessible. And so we want to make sure that people aren't getting pushed out of their homes. If I were a renter, right now my mortgage, and I have a small but 3-bedroom apartment right off of Hope Street. I love my neighborhood, but if I were trying to rent an apartment in the Mount Hope part of my neighborhood, the rent on that neighborhood is way more than my monthly mortgage for a small 1-bedroom. And it's crazy. Like, I have an entire house with a backyard in a lovely neighborhood, and people in other parts of the neighborhood can't even afford to rent 1 bedroom for what I pay in my mortgage.
You talked about RIPTA. I've been a critic of RIPTA. We have shoveled millions and millions of dollars at RIPTA, only to see kind of a failing system. Buses that lumber down Broadway half empty. Directors who come and go. And you want to put more money in RIPTA?
I think we need to actually fully fund RIPTA instead of making it limp along. And then what they do is they end up having to cut service. So then it's not convenient anymore. And you see this downward spiral in usage, which is why you see the bus half empty. We see that with the one on Hope Street, or the R is actually quite full on North Main, but you start to see fewer and fewer people rely on it because we've disinvested and they cut back service. It only comes every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes. So you actually need to make sure it works, and then people will be able to use it.
Other than the R line, other than certain neighborhoods in Providence, Rhode Island is not a bus state. People drive, and they don't want to give up their cars. Where is your reimagining of RIPTA? Where are maybe in Turkey they have little vans called dolmabachis or doma bushes, and people jump on them.
Yeah.
They don't have lumbering buses. Where's the reimagining?
Yeah,
of what
I would
RIPTA
love
could be?
for us to reimagine RIPTA. And I know there's some amazing staff at RIPTA, like their head of planning, Sarah, a lot of folks who are trying to think more expansively about what it could be. And I've lived in other cities where public transit, or not even cities, other places where public transit is more functional, and you can get around. Right now, if I want to go see like a show in Newport at night, or someone in Newport wants to come to Providence for the evening, they can't take the bus home afterward.
No, I can't come to work on a bus.
Yeah.
I miss my own show.
And a lot of people would like that accessibility. And I've worked a lot on traffic safety, I've worked a lot on pedestrian safety and access, and this is something I've worked with like AARP on. Folks who are older, who are stuck in their home, who might not be able to drive anymore or just don't feel comfortable driving, they lose access to all of the great resources of our state.
Are you a proud Democrat?
I am a proud Democrat.
Do you embrace socialism, or do you renounce socialism?
That is a very loaded question, Gene, but I would say...
Why would you say that? 3 socialists just won in New York last night. Mamdani's a proud socialist.
Yeah.
Morales is a socialist.
Yeah.
Your party... there was just a poll that showed your party is embracing socialism.
Yeah.
It's not a loaded question,
No.
it's a timely question.
I think that's a valid question, and thank you for rephrasing it. But I think for me, I embrace the programs that come with socialism. So I'm not saying I'm a socialist. I'm not saying that I am socialist versus capitalist or whatever.
Right.
But the programs that people are buying into in New York City and other places, they're seeing folks like Mamdani fill potholes, make government work for people. I think that's what people want to see, is like government that's actually responsive and actually doing work for people. And that's a lot of what socialism, frankly, is. It's like, are we funding our schools? Are we filling the potholes? Are we actually providing programs for folks that work and using their taxpayer dollars in ways that are effective?
Yeah, well, this is a good philosophical conversation.
Yeah, it is. I would love to keep having it.
Aren't they seeing important corporations leave Wall Street pulling out of Manhattan? Because look at Mamdani was standing in front of that CEO's house and calling him an evil billionaire.
Yeah.
And that guy, by the way, that Citadel, he is moving. He's moving, not only that, he's moving thousands of jobs out of Manhattan. And the cops aren't happy with Mamdani. And there's a lot of criticism that this is a guy who never ran anything. All of a sudden, he's running the biggest city in the world.
Yeah.
Or at least the biggest city in the country.
I actually know a lot of folks who live in New York City who've been really pleased to see that he had promised some things on his campaign trail, like he was going to invest in the schools, like he was going to fill the potholes, like he was going to make government work for regular people, and that's what he's been doing. When he stood outside of that person's home, that was like their second or third home. He wasn't saying, we don't want you to live here. He was just saying, if this is your second or third home and it's worth more than $5 million, which is a lot of money, we just want you to pay a little more taxes. Pay your fair share. Yeah, pied-à-terre tax.
And the guy will say, yeah, it is my pied-à-terre. I'm here a couple of weekends. And
Yeah.
I don't bother
And
you.
great.
I don't suck anything on your system. I pay my taxes, and I pay my taxes on time. By the way, Mamdani, free daycare, free buses, and subsidized supermarkets. Are those good ideas, or are those ideas that's going to break an already broken city?
I mean, it depends on the nuance. All policy, just like the rent stabilization conversation we had, it depends on the details. There's good ways to do things. There are ways that work better than others. And so I'm not going to blanketly say all transportation should be free, or we should be investing in city-owned grocery stores. But there are ways to do these policies, and we should have people-centered policies that are like working for everyday people. And we haven't had that in government in a long time.
You want to be lieutenant governor.
I do.
Now, the rap on lieutenant governor is it's just an office, $1 million waste of time. You have no real responsibilities. You sit there and wait for the governor to croak. And we hope that never happens.
That never happens.
We hope that, bang on
I hope
cheap
this
for
is
Micah.
wood, yeah.
We hope that never happens. But isn't that a fair assessment? It's a job with no responsibilities, nothing, all advisory.
I think
you're an advisor to this, advisor to that.
Yeah, I think the real opportunity of that office, Gene, is to elect someone who can lead in that kind of absence and say, hey, we have some real challenges in this state. We don't have the luxury of any of these state offices sitting around doing nothing, just like looking at their watch, hoping that something happens to the other guy. Like, that office could be a place of innovation. It could be a place where you have a staff of a couple people. You could be working with the General Assembly, you could be working with the governor and their team, saying, hey, let's take on some of these harder systemic challenges, dive into the nuance, figure out some of our energy challenges, figure out some of our housing challenges, and work the solutions through the General Assembly or through the
But why do you want it? It's a powerless position. You bully pulpit, we give you a budget, we give you a car, you get a driver. Why do you want it?
Well, I definitely don't want a car and a driver, but what I want to do...
You would renounce that? You wouldn't accept it?
I will.
Or you'll take the bus?
I will, but I'll take the bus and I'll drive myself around.
That could be a good hook.
I'll take
as
the bus.
Lieutenant Governor, I will take the bus. All right, go ahead.
Well, I will. I'll take the bus. I'll drive. I'll walk. I'll do the things. I want it because it shouldn't just be an office where nothing happens, where you go to ribbon cuttings. We have real challenges in this state, and we need serious leaders who want to like take on some of these big challenges and use that office, use every office to really be working on behalf of Rhode Islanders. And frankly, that's what Rhode Islanders deserve. Like myself as a Rhode Islander, I want my government working for me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's what I'll do as Lieutenant Governor.
30 seconds. You autograph to Sabina Matos, right? Digging up the names from the graveyard. You're going to take that to her? And what about Cy Camp Savorvong? He's got the buzz about him.
He has a buzz, but I have a buzz too, and I represent a part of Providence with a lot of voter turnout, and I've also been in statewide jobs where I know folks across this entire state and have worked on behalf of them when I was Director of Food Strategy in the Raimondo administration. So I know this state well, and I love it.
Councilwoman Sue AnderBois, running for Lieutenant Governor, Democrat. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me,
I'm
Gene.
energized
This
now.
was a delight.
I'll see you on the bus.
I'll see you on the bus.
Right.